So we're going to be looking at a couple of story problems involving a straight line, a graph. So David will charge the following for his services as a handyman to work at your house. And the first question is, how much does David charge just for showing up at your house? Well, this is the y-intercept. And if you look at the graph, it looks like it's going to be 70. So at 0 hours, it looks like $70 to be charged. The next part is, how much does David charge per hour? This is linear. So we could find two dots and then use our slope equation if we want to find it. So let's pick the original point, the y-intercept, which is the point 0, 70. And then we can pick another point that's pretty obvious. It doesn't go through like a part like this part of the line. We want it to go right through a corner. And it looks like it goes through a corner right here. And that would be the point 3, 160. Then it's a good form just to identify this is my first x, this is my first y, my second x, and my second y. And I do that, and then I can put it into the slope formula equation pretty easily here. So it's going to be m equals my second y, which is 160, minus my first y, which is 70, over my second x, which is 3, minus my first x, which is 0. And 160 minus 70 is 90. 3 minus 0 is 3. And 90 divided by 3 is 30. And this makes sense in the context of the question that David will charge $30 per hour. So I have the slope, which is 30. So we're going to write this information for David as an equation. The slope is 30. So let's put that in for the m. So y equals 30x. Or 30h if we wanted to say this was our variable, but we'll leave it as 30x. And the y-intercept was 70. So just for showing up, David gets $70. And the last question is, how much would David make if he visited one home and worked for 13 hours? So if he visited for one home, that means he's only going to get that $70, the initial fee, plus he's going to get $30 for the 13 hours. We're going to do y equals, we're just going to put in the 13 for x. So y equals 30 times 13 plus 70. 30 times 13 is 390, and 390 plus 70 is 460. So David's going to get $460 if he worked 13 hours at one place. The next question is, ABC Company projects their total value to increase in a linear form. We're going to look at the graph and answer the questions below. The first question is, what is the initial value of ABC Company? That would be the value when it just starts off, and it looks like it's going to be 15,000. That's the initial value, so at time 0, the value appears to be 15,000 according to the graph. How much does ABC Company expect to their value of the company to increase each month? Well, again, we're going to need to find the slope. So let's pick a couple points. Let's use the first point there, which is 0, 15,000. And we'll pick another point that goes right through a corner, and it looks like this will work at 5, 40,000. And then to find the slope, it is, again, good form to identify our first x, our first y, our second x, and our second y, and now we can take those values and put it into the m equals equation over here in the middle. My second y is 40,000, my first y is 15, my second x is 5, and my first x is 0. 40,000 minus 15,000 is 25,000. 5 minus 0 is 5, and 25,000 divided by 5 is 5,000. So that would be our slope, or the letter m in y equals mx plus b. So writing an equation in the form of y equals mx plus b that would represent ABC's model, well, we're going to have y equals, and excuse the typo right there, an extra t there. Y equals the slope, which is 5,000. Still say x, and the initial value, the b, is 15,000. And I'm going to delete stuff in the middle to make room for this last question. So we're trying to find the value when ABC Company would first be 200,000 or more. So we need to solve the inequality. 5,000x plus 15,000 is greater than or equal to 200,000. So we almost treat this like an equation. We get rid of the stuff that's on the same side of the letter by not touching it. So we're going to subtract 15,000 first on both sides. And that's going to give us 5,000x is greater than or equal to 185,000. And then we're going to divide both sides by 5,000 because the opposite or inverse of multiplication is division. So in this case, it shows that x is greater than or equal to 37. So the first time that it's 200,000 or more is the year or 37 months. If you have any kind of questions, ask your math teacher.